Hi, and welcome back to the Examine Life, where we explore the big questions of philosophy, spirituality, and meaning through the lens of our generation. I'm your host, Laura, and today we're diving into a topic that feels important for Gen Z, and that's how healing practices are shaping young people's mental health and sense of purpose. My guest today is Kat Myers, a energy healer who works closely with youth, helping them navigate a lot of the struggles that they're going through. Kat, would you start off by sharing with the audience like the kind of work that you do?
Well, I do energy healing. So people usually come to me for any sort of emotional issue. So whether it's like anxiety or depression or just stress and yeah, just or any event that they're actually going through in their life. So any traumatic event, it could be illness or accidents or deaths, or separations. So anytime that people are kind of having a hard time, they usually come and see me. And sometimes with physical issues as well.
Thank you. What was your journey like into becoming an energy healer? Was there something that kind of led you to this path?
Yeah, actually, it was my own health issues that led me to this path. So when I was studying, I was really, really sick. I was actually sleeping 16, 18-hour days, and I went to every doctor I possibly could go to, and no one could figure out what was going on with me. And it was just by a chance fluke that someone at Whole Foods recommended a doctor. And he was like, this is the guy you want to see. And this guy turned out to be like this miracle worker. And he was able to see exactly what was going on with me within 5 minutes, when 2 years of diagnosing and going to do all these testings, no one could figure out what was going on. And within 5 minutes, he knew exactly what was going on with me. And within 3 months, I was in perfect health. And I thought, oh my God, there's actually more to the body and healing than it is with the medical profession or the field. And so from there, I started to deep dive into all the natural healing and also the energy healing. And that's kind of how I started with the energy healing.
Oh yeah, that's really like fascinating. I think like the feeling of someone just like being able to read you that quickly is you feel like it's so powerful. Knowing that someone can sense and understand what you're feeling, it's very helpful, I think, for feeling a little bit better because sometimes it's hard to describe it exactly, you know. People being able to understand and read that off you, that's really cool to me.
Yeah, no, it was an eye opener for sure for me. And then I kind of realized that the body doesn't just it's not just the body works as a whole, and I had to kind of relearn everything about the body as well. So, and how like your emotions can actually affect your physical body and symptoms and things. So if you're like really sad sometimes, it can actually like you might end up having lots and lots of colds, or if you're being stuck in a situation in life, like you're not quite sure how to go forward in a situation, suddenly your legs, like you get injuries on your legs. So it's kind of all interconnected. So it's
Mhm.
actually quite cool.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot of spiritual traditions and like religions or that emphasize the meaning of the whole person, like you said, the whole body. And how do you see like that relationship, like between the mind, the body, and spirit in your practice?
Well, it's all interconnected. I mean, I think that with what we've learned, without all the ancient traditions or the old knowledge, now with Western medicine, you're like, oh no, there's like a symptom and, we take care of the symptom. But with energy healing and what I believe in is that it is all interconnected. So we have an energy field around us. And so whatever we think and whatever we feel, it actually translates somewhere in our body as like a physical symptom, right? So it's really all illnesses start with the mind,
Hmm.
honestly. I've actually discovered over many, many years of just kind of doing this practice and also with myself. So, and I realized after seeing this doctor initially, he was really instrumental in kind of helping me understand that a lot of the symptoms that I had created within my body, and I was like, oh my God, getting bronchial pneumonia every other month, prior to this. And I had three major surgeries, like a gallbladder being removed, a couple tumors in the body. And it actually just stemmed from my emotional issues from childhood. So it just sort of it made sense actually after I spoke to him and after getting the healing done and actually clearing that aspect of my life, not just the physical symptom. I've never really been sick since, really.
Wow. Is that how you'd say you go through your healings? Like you figure out what the root cause is, like through the mind with people to figure out like how that's affecting their health?
Yeah, 100%. And even like when you look at Chinese medicine, it even maps out like certain organs in the body that's associated with different emotions. Like with Chinese medicine, if you carry grief in your lungs, anger in your liver, fear in your so when you have and different, of course, there's different emotions in different parts, but when you start clearing emotions, of anger or fear or grief, it starts to kind of clear up. So I had this lady who, who couldn't, who started to develop serious issues with her lungs. I think she had like lung cancer. And it was because, it correlated with her not moving on from her last or being in grief or being sad about her divorce. So when you start clearing the emotions about the divorce and when she started to go forward or move forward in her life, then the treatments that she was getting from her doctors and everything seems to be working better,
Hmm.
so it really helps with whatever, whatever treatment that you're doing. And also with simpler things, it can just kind of, if you just have like an achy knee or something and you clear some emotions, your knee kind of gets better in instant.
Yeah. Do you see that a lot, especially in younger people, like teenagers, how it's affecting them? And the work that you do, like, how does it kind of affect teenagers in an impactful way?
Well, I'm in Asia, right? So a lot of the kids that come to me are just stressed out. Like usually there's academically stressed, like to the point where they're suicidal or they're depressed. Many like these are the kids that I see a lot, but a lot also have like eating disorders, a lot of actually eating disorders and anxiety. And I think a lot of times when the stress of, I think, being excellent at school or maybe even trying to fit in or not feeling like you're fitting in with your peers can cause a lot, well, that causes a lot of like sadness, but like the stress from not doing academically, a lot of time it brings on extreme stress and also anxiety. So there's many different reasons why people come, and a lot of times, yeah, when we do energy healing, they can really move on and get better. So I had this girl who was actually a great dancer. Like she was accepted into the Royal Ballet School, and suddenly she couldn't walk. Like she just couldn't walk. And for a year, she was going through all different kind of doctors and treatments, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with her. So when we started to do some energy healing, we basically tried to clear away some of the stress and the anxiety and, the things that she may be feeling. And she's fine now, after a couple of months, and she's dancing again. So the mind is so powerful. It can really cause a lot of disturbances in your body. So when we start to clear away a lot of that, the stress or whatever emotional things that any teenager or child is going through, the body seems to self-heal really a lot of the times.
Yeah. And do you have methods for your clients that they are able to channel in when they're not meeting with you, like that they can kind of practice on their own?
Well, the best thing to do for anyone is meditation
Hmm.
because you do meditations, you are releasing the stress yourself, but going out for like a walk in nature
Hmm.
because it is exactly as they say, it's Mother Nature. They really kind of take care of you. So when you're out and you're walking amongst like nature and the trees and everything, you suddenly feel better anyway
Hmm.
because there's like an energy exchange between nature, like trees and the ground, with you. And so they kind of take on and absorb your negative energy and they kind of give you their good vibes, like their good energy. And it's the same with walking on the beach. When you put your bare feet onto the sand, you're actually grounding yourself, you're resetting your energy, and a lot of the negative energy would actually go through the ground. So that really is one method that you can do to deal with some of the lighter stresses. And another really, really, really good thing you can do is actually take a bath with salt in it. It could be any kind of salt, but the best salt is Epsom salt. And because salt has the ability to kind of transmute any negative energy. And that's why, like, when you go to the beach, don't you just feel more relaxed afterwards? Like spending
Yeah.
the day at the is because there's like a lot of salt in the air and the ocean and just the whole energy around there is helping you rebalance and kind of take away a lot of the negativity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are some of the things that you can do.
I think that would be really helpful for a lot of people who just don't even know where to start with their things. When I was really stressed out at school last year, I was just getting sick all the time and not knowing how to stop that from even starting because once you're sick, you kind of have to go through the process and there's nothing you can do and then you just get sick again. And knowing that there was ways that I could have like combated that rather than just like having to deal with sickness, but channeling it from like within and figuring out like what the root cause is, you know, that's not
Yeah,
just, yeah, like in my body with my mind and what's going on there.
exactly. And you can do that when your mind is still, right? When it's quiet. A lot of people so when people drink or do like when they drink or do drugs or to do any sort of substance that they're using to not kind of be present is because they're self-medicating
Mhm.
because the pain is so bad that they don't want to feel it, so they will maybe like do drugs or whatever, or drink, or maybe shop, or constantly have, or to be intimate with someone because they're trying to run away from the emotion that they don't want to feel, right? So one of the like energy healing is really about, well, when I do it, it's, we just clear it, right? But when you're doing it on your own, the most important thing that you need to do is do not run away from these feelings. So sometimes, like that fear or that worry, or I don't know, it could be sadness, it could be anything, it could be any emotion. Stay with it. Just sit there with it and let it come up. So let's say you're very, very sad about something and you don't want to think about it, like breaking up with someone, you don't want to think about it. But instead, if you just sit there and not take anything to numb the pain, stay with it and let that emotion come up, and it's going to get really, really intense, but you'll be so surprised how quickly it disappears. And when that emotion disappears, then you're all good. So I have people who've come to me who have been like angry at their father for 30 years, 20 years, 30 years. And when we do the energy clearing, within minutes, it's gone. And they're like, what? I
Hmm.
didn't want to that emotions for so many years, and they don't understand. I think a lot of people don't realize just how quickly these emotions just go away. So
Hmm.
if you are and you want to kind of try to do this on your own, you can just sit very, very still, let the emotions come up, let the pain come up, of any like painful situation, whatever emotion it is, or even the pain, and just breathe and just kind of like close your eyes and just kind of breathe through it and let it come up and stay with it. It will start to dissipate, and that's when you know that the emotion is gone.
So would you say like acceptance is like a good kind of
It's not about accepting it. It's about feeling it. It's
Yeah.
about feeling it. So it's like a lot of times, like people don't want to feel that pain, right? Or, a lot of reasons why people are sad or they're not doing well in life is because there's two main reasons, right? Or these statements that they believe, which is not true, which is I'm not good enough, right? And the other one is I'm not lovable, right? So when anything happens and it makes them feel like they're not good enough or they're not lovable, they like it could be like in a relationship, it doesn't work out or they get a bad grade. You know what I mean? So you start to kind of spiral. You know what I mean? You can start to get sick or you can start to get, deeper issues like anxiety or depression or whatever, right? So if you just kind of anytime anything happens and you just kind of stay with it and let the emotions kind of come out, and then you can start to really when you release those emotions, then it's not kind of there to make you think that you are a failure or make you think that you're not good enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I like what you said about it's not about accepting, it's about feeling. I think you're right about not wanting to feel things because that's the hardest part. Like you can tell yourself that you accept something, but at the end of the day, having to really feel it, like truly feel it, even though it hurts, like that's probably the hardest part. So I think that's really powerful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why people That's what people are running away from most of the time. Like if I deal with people when I'm doing energy healing with someone who has anorexia or, you know, oh God, it could be that or that girl walking through, like it's just because they don't feel good enough. It's just really like there's like a false belief that somehow along the way we all think that about ourselves
Mhm.
without exception. There's not one single human being who has not thought that they're not good enough ever, like that I've come in contact with, because we just somehow think that. So when we start to do energy healing and we try to clear away a lot of these incidences or these emotions that were kind of created from experiences, we reinforce the fact that you're valuable, you are worthy, you are good enough. And then people start to heal very, very quickly.
Yeah. I think that's probably a great piece of advice for people. So if you had to give a young person, a teenager listening to this, just one more piece of advice to start for better physical well-being, mental well-being, what would that be?
Honestly, you are good enough.
Hmm.
You are lovable, you are good enough. We're all unique. Everybody is different. Don't compare yourself to other people, honestly. And every single person is insecure. Every single one, every single person is insecure. Every single person think they're not good enough, and everyone thinks they're not lovable. There's somewhere in there, until they work it out themselves or they work on it and they clear it out, whether it's through yourself, through meditation or whatever, or through a friendship or through energy healing. It's you will find your worth and you will find that you're lovable. Don't buy into this false belief that you're not good enough.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and experiences today. I think that it's important for people to know that energy healing is such a great option for people who feel like they need something else, like there's something more to their problems, figuring out what that root is and being able to, like you said, truly feel it so they can get better. And even just talking about your own experience of how it helped you, it's really fascinating. So,
Yeah.
so
And I
much.
want to add, before I forget,
Mhm.
because as a teenager or as a child, you think a lot of your belief system is actually about yourself, is created by your parents
Mhm.
and by the teachers, right? So it could be as simple as someone's like didn't pick you for a team and you think, oh, I'm not good enough. It could be you didn't get 100% on a mark and you're like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. It could be something so simple that you start to have this belief in you. You understand? It doesn't have to be like a catastrophic thing. I mean, there are times when, there are big incidences where they're coming from abusive homes, or, they are going through divorces in a home. And that is, that creates a lot of anxiety and stress and everything in you. But even in those situations, really understand that a lot of your belief system is created by people who are actually having problems themselves. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
That is really important for, I think, young people to know for sure.
Yeah, because I think it could make people feel a little bit better that they're not alone in their thoughts and there's not something wrong with them. It's just sometimes the environment.
A lot of this false belief system that we talk about, especially in energy healing, we will clear a lot of that. And that is important for you to understand that you're just a kid and you're learning and growing. See, adults, when they need to be responsible for their own emotions and feelings and not dump it on the kids.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that would help probably a lot of kids who are feeling a certain type of way. So,
Yeah.
okay. Thank
Okay.
you so much for speaking with me.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.
Bye.